Well, hello there. Will Mason here at the Demo Lab in Birmingham, Alabama, checking out a super cool bluesy tone monster time machine that is the Supro 1695. This is the Black Magick from Supro, and I am super excited to be doing this demo. It is personally an amp that I've been interested in a long time because, as you can probably figure out, I am a big Led Zeppelin fan. Now, this amp has a legendary tone. We'll get into some of the lore around it in a little bit, but one of the things I want to point out from the very beginning is it is its own thing. Doesn't sound like anything else. Has a very unique sonic signature. It doesn't sound like a Fender, doesn't sound like a Marshall, it doesn't sound like a Vox. It sounds like a Supro, and that's a good thing. As always, we're going to be bringing you high quality audio. We're here in the recording studio, so make sure you got some headphones on so you get the full listening experience. And for you audio nerds out there, yes, we're running a 57 and a 421, the dynamic duo, right into our API preamps and on into Pro Tools from there. If you're thinking about buying one of these things, we have a link in our description. We'd love to hook you up with that. And if you're just here for the riffs, stay tuned, we've got more coming. And we actually have started a new series called Shut Up and Play, and you can click the link if you don't want to see my face anymore and just want to go straight to me playing the amp. Now, before we get into the meat of it, make sure you like and subscribe to our channel so you get all the latest news from Mason Music and the Demo Lab, and leave us a comment later on so that we can be friends. All right, let me talk a little bit about the features on this awesome bad boy. First of all, let's look at it. This thing is really, really pretty. It's got the black Rhino Tolex wrap around it with this white racing stripe, which is super sexy, good looking thing. It also has the gold faceplate with the retro inspired knobs and writing on it. It just screams Sears and Roebuck in the best way possible. In terms of what's going on inside the amp and what creates this amazing sound, first of all, we'll start over here. We have two different channels, but they're wired in a really unique way. So 1 and 2 are actually linked when you plug into channel 1, giving you access to both preamps and more onboard gain. So the preamp section is driven by two 12AX7 preamp tubes, and when you're in 1 and 2, both of these volume knobs are gonna give you more gain, more sustain, a creamier, thicker tone, and just an awesome, awesome sound. If you just plug into channel 2, then you're only going to be controlling volume with the volume knob here for volume 2. That is going to give you a lot of headroom, very clean sound, and this becomes an amazing pedal platform. Things that have tails on them, delays, sound unbelievable through this amp, very crystal clear, and tons of clarity for sure. Next, we have a tone knob, which is, yes, just one tone knob. It's not a 3-band EQ or anything like that, but it gives you a huge range from bass to treble, and in a minute I'm going to play a different guitar and you'll see how you can really control the tone with just this one knob and you don't feel like you're missing out on anything. Then we also have a tube-driven tremolo section that's driven by another 12AX7, and we just have depth and speed, but this thing has got so much mojo in the tremolo section, it's just really inspiring and fun to play with. And of course we have the standby switch and the power switch. The only thing you'll notice that we don't have that I want to point out is there's no master volume. So if you're not familiar with using a non-master volume amp, it is something to get adjusted to because you have to get really loud if you want to get into breakup territory and on into some of the heavier gain tones of the amp. So that is the feature set of what you can see. Now inside, in the power tube section, it's driven by two 6973 tubes, and those are giving you a lot of that tone as well, going into the custom power transformer that Supro designs to match their preamp tubes, power tubes, and the speaker. There is also going to be an output on the back that you can't see for 16 ohms, 8 ohms, 4 ohms if you do want to use an external speaker cabinet. But why would you want to when this thing has a 12-inch Jensen P12Q, which was the speaker used in a lot of those Holy Grail amps from the 50s. And as legend has it, when Jimmy Page took his 1959 Coronado amp to get repaired after it fell out of the back of the van, which we've all been there, they replaced the 210 speakers with a 112 baffle and changed some tubes out, and that's kind of what gave it its magic. You've heard this amp before on Led Zeppelin 1 or an amp similar. This is a faithful recreation. Of course, this isn't the actual original amp, or we'd be sitting in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So that's it for the features of the Supro Black Magick 1695T. Let's see what this thing sounds like. Now, today I'm going to be playing my Fender American-made Fat Telecaster, which has, of course, a humbucker in the neck and a single coil in the bridge, so we can cover a lot of different territory. You can hear what that is going to sound like coming through this amp. And to begin with, I'm actually going to switch over to the channel 2 so we can get some clean tones. Hear what that sounds like. Of course, more Zeppelin. Always a good thing. So you can tell it's right there at the edge of breakup. It stays pretty clean on single notes, but if you dig in a little bit, you start to really engage those tubes and overdrive them into getting a little bit more growl out of them. And right now that's that's below 12 o'clock on that channel 2 setting. So of course, if we turn it up a little bit, we can get into that gain territory and really start to get some touch sensitivity going on the guitar. So let's check that out. So you definitely start to get some more growl out of the tubes when you turn it up, even just a little bit. Now I'm going to switch back to the channel 1 and 2 linked so we can get a little bit more tube saturated mojo going on, and let's hear what that tremolo sounds like. So yeah, this thing definitely oozes some mojo. And I love having tube-driven tremolo on the amp. Such a cool thing. Can't get that in a pedal for sure. Okay, so I told you that we're going to switch over to the Angus Young Sg, and now seems like a good time to do that, so you can hear what some Gibson pickups sound like going through this amp. So, Gibson, here we go. Well, there it is. I guess this really has some Black Magick in it. Sorry guys, I'm a professional dad in my spare time, so I can't help myself. So the Gibson Angus Young Sg, let's hear what this thing sounds like. I'm back on channel 1 and 2 linked, so we can hear some great tones in there. Sounds awesome. I love it on the lead tones, and I'm gonna show you a little bit about how touch sensitive it is. Just on the guitar, if I control the volume slightly, we can really clean up the amp without having to walk over next to it, or walk over to it. Obviously right now I'm right next to it, so it's not a big deal, but if you're on stage, you have a lot of control at the guitar and the amp responds really amazingly. So just by turning the volume down a little bit, we're gonna get things real nice and clean, and then you'll hear what it sounds like when I switch pickups. All right, and we're gonna crank it up even more just to hear what that gain sounds like wide open. So we're gonna just kind of pretty much dime it out here. And again, in the room, this is super loud because we don't have that master volume knob on it, but it sounds so good. This is what a tube amp is supposed to do. So here we go. Yeah, that thing is awesome. Again, that's what an amp should sound like. And you can hear how loud it is in the room because we're getting some of that natural harmonic feedback going on. Y'all, I love this amp. This thing sounds so good. In fact, it's one that I've had my eye on for a while and really might consider adding to my guitar arsenal personally, because I'm a big fan of it. The Supro Black Magick 1695. And again, I'm a huge Jimmy Page Led Zeppelin fan, so I might be a bit of a sucker for a story about an amp that has to do with him. But I'm also a skeptic at heart, and so I've really looked at this amp like, let's see. And I've got to say that it really delivers on its promise at a price point that's affordable. There was a recreation made of Jimmy Page's 1959 Coronado that ended up being extremely expensive, and there were only 50 of those made. This thing is probably not something you're going to tell a whole lot of difference between, and its street price right now is $13.99, so certainly attainable for the professional musician. Now again, if you are playing in your bedroom, this may not be the amp for you because it doesn't have the master volume. Other than that, there's no reason that you can't get this amp. And if you were looking for a Holy Grail amp without the holy crap price tag, you gotta check out the Supro Black Magick 1695T. It also comes in a reverb model, and there's a head model that does have a 2-band EQ as well as a master volume. So if that's something that's important to you, you could check out that model as well. All of this information is available on our site at masonmusic.com. Check out our store there and shop around, see what we've got in stock. And if you're ever in the Birmingham area, you've got to stop by and say hello. We'd love to meet you and make your acquaintance. That's it for now. Subscribe, like, comment, share. I'm Will Mason here at the Demo Lab. Until next time, rock on.